Have you ever looked at something like the Great Pyramids and just wondered, how? Or maybe you've heard a story so strange, it just completely defies logic. Well, today we're diving right into those kinds of questions. Drawing from this incredible collection of mysteries over at quahog.tv, we're about to take a journey into some of humanity's biggest unsolved puzzles. We're talking everything from ancient riddles to modern marvels that challenge everything we think we know. But before we get into the specifics, let's start with the bigger question. Why are we so drawn to the unknown anyway? It seems like it's a core part of being human, right? This deep-seated curiosity, this drive to solve the puzzle. That's the stuff that fuels our greatest discoveries and our wildest daydreams.
And we've got quite a trip planned for you today. We're going to touch on the absolute genius behind the Great Pyramids. We'll explore the unbelievable, almost miraculous story of a woman who was literally frozen solid and survived. And yeah, we're even going to get a little spooky with the legend of the Chupacabra. So let's get started. We're going to start our journey way, way back in the past. Because, sometimes the most mind-bending questions aren't about the future. They're echoes from ancient civilizations that left behind structures and customs so incredible they make you question our whole understanding of history. And of course, you have to start with the ultimate symbol of ancient mystery, the Great Pyramids. I mean, we're talking about millions of stone blocks, some weighing tons, all fitted together with a precision that modern builders would struggle with. Even with all our computers and cranes, how they did it is still one of history's most awesome, baffling questions.
But ancient mysteries aren't always the famous ones. Check this out. This is Port-Bajin. It's a huge 1,300-year-old fortress on a remote island in Siberia. Now here's the puzzle. After more than 100 years of studying it, archaeologists have found zero, and I mean zero, evidence that anyone ever actually lived there or used it. So why would you build something so massive, so far from everything, and then just abandon it?
Mysteries can also be deeply cultural, like the Kabayan mummies of the Philippines. And this was nothing like what the Egyptians did. It was this really unique, complicated process, only for the tribe's leaders, where the body was slowly smoked, preserving it from the inside out. We understand some of the technique, but the complex beliefs and all the rituals behind it, a lot of that is still lost to time.
Okay, so from actual physical places, let's shift gears and dive into the phantoms of our own minds. We're stepping into the world of folklore, of cryptozoology, to explore those creatures that kind of live in that blurry space between what's real and what's just a story. This is just a fascinating look at how legends evolve. On one side, you've got the siren, a myth that sailors have been whispering about for thousands of years. On the other, the chupacabra, the goat sucker, this terrifying beast whose story just exploded in the 1990s. It raises a really cool question. Are we seeing a real creature, or are we watching a brand new myth get created in real time, maybe even inspired by a horror movie? It proves new legends can pop up anytime.
But hey, while we're exploring all these cool legends, it's always good to keep one foot grounded in science. And when it comes to something like zombies, for example, the science is pretty clear. Biologically speaking, reanimated dead bodies are just not possible. So it seems like some mysteries, at least, we can confidently say are solved.
Other mysteries, though, are not so easy to just dismiss. And that brings us to probably the most personal and definitely the most universal question of all. Do ghosts really exist? And that's not just a simple question. You could make a pretty strong case that it's one of the most controversial and long-lasting debates in all of human history. The reason it sparks so much argument is because it gets right to the heart of our deepest questions about life, about loss, and about what, if anything, happens after we're gone.
All right, let's jump forward to today, because if you think all the great mysteries are buried in the past, you couldn't be more wrong. Our modern world is absolutely packed with things happening right now that push the boundaries of what science can even explain.
Imagine finding this on the bottom of the ocean, an unknown object that is 8 kilometers long. Just the shape of it, and its massive scale, has some people speculating that it could be the ruins of a lost city, a whole civilization just swallowed by the sea. It's a huge reminder that we're still finding things on our own planet that could completely rewrite history. And then there are events that seem to defy biology itself, like the truly unbelievable story of Jean Hilliard. In 1980, she was found frozen solid after her car broke down. And I don't just mean she was really cold. Doctors literally couldn't get a needle into her skin because it was frozen solid. But somehow, miraculously, she thawed out and made a complete recovery with no permanent damage. To this day, medical science has absolutely no explanation for how she survived that. And the list of modern mysteries just keeps going. You've got strange pillars of light just appearing in the sky, these incredibly vivid and detailed reports from people who've had near-death experiences, disappearances that make zero logical sense. There are even secret locations that are intentionally blurred out on Google Maps, and all sorts of weird natural events that leave scientists just scratching their heads. Our world is still absolutely full of things to wonder about.
So, after going through ancient ruins, mythical creatures, and modern miracles, what's the common thread here? Well, it's the one thing that connects every single one of these puzzles: our own never-ending, can't-be-satisfied search for answers.
What we've really seen today is that our world is basically just a giant puzzle box. And it seems like every time we think we found an answer, it just opens up a dozen new questions we didn't even know to ask. Whether we're looking at stones that were put in place thousands of years ago or strange lights that showed up last night, the real excitement is in the search itself. And that really leaves us with one last thought to take with you. With everything we've discovered and all the stuff that's still unknown, what do you think the next great mystery is going to be? What's the next puzzle that's going to capture the entire world's imagination? Thanks so much for joining us on this exploration. Keep asking questions.
Health is the most precious gift. If this video helped you or someone you love, please like, subscribe, and share so more families can stay safe and healthy.